I wanted to continue the theme of attachment and ego in a way that may be valuable to some of you here. And it directly connects to some of the things that we were talking about yesterday about the antidote, about the courage that it takes to actually stand up, so to speak, and make a stand, make a move, to say, well, I don't care if you think I'm crazy, I'm going to move to Vilcabamba anyway, or whatever, a whole bunch of stuff. And it also applies to the situation that we were referring to, which I was saying, when if people criticize you, or if people start to attack you or pull you down or make jokes about you because of your tinfoil hat beliefs, then the danger is to get into an argument with them to try and convince them that you're right and they're wrong, rather than just give them a hug and recognizing that they're just projecting their fear onto you because of the mirror thing that you're saying. This is a huge trap that we all fall into, and it's something to be aware of for anyone who is going to put their head above the parapet in any way publicly, as in letting your Princeton colleagues know. Have I got this right? Yeah, letting your Princeton colleagues know that you have a near-death experience. Is that right?
That would be one of them.
That would be one of many. Yeah, right. Okay. So, just to talk about my own little journey here and some of the things I've experienced and some of the mistakes which I've made, is way back in the mist of time, about 1 million years ago, at the end of 2005, I got involved just because I volunteered naively to help out, being the webmaster of a site that was going to present a whole lot of information that was being released anonymously on the internet about a supposed US military ET exchange program, which was called Project Serpo. Anyone heard of Project Serpo? Yeah. Okay. It's real, by the way. But,
what is it?
Project Serpo. S-E-R-P. I'm not even going to go into it. But, just because I have to, because I can't say something without anyone not knowing what happened was, in the 1960s, there was an exchange program, just like a student exchange program, like Ecuadorian students go to America and American students come to Ecuador and they swap. There was an exchange program between a bunch of US military astronauts and an alien race, and these American astronauts went off to another planet for 12 years. 8 of them returned, 2 of them died, 2 of them decided to stay, a whole bunch of stuff, crazy information. And I got involved in all of that story as the webmaster for a website, it's still there, called serpo.org. As this information was being released from an anonymous intelligence agency source, and it was full of disinformation, but there was truth there. There really was truth there. I could do a whole seminar on this. But that's not the topic. The point is that I was naive, and I thought, oh, I'll do that, no problem. I didn't have anything to do at the time. I was going to be the webmaster of this thing, and the next thing I knew, I was being invited to Coast to Coast. I came up in I thought, well, I'd never been on an internet forum before. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the rules were. I was a little bit like Inelia coming to this planet. You know, I didn't even know how to move this internet body of mine. I didn't know how to operate. So I didn't think of using an anonymous username. I just registered on abovetopsecret.com as Bill Ryan. If anyone asked me a question, I answered it truthfully, because why would I lie? You know. And I was just as intellectually and emotionally honest as I possibly could be about the whole thing, and I was absolutely taken to the cleaners by this guy. I'm still banned on there as a hoaxer right now. I'm a hoaxer. If you can look back on archive.org or something and you see Bill Ryan hoaxer, it's on there. And I could talk for a long time about that story, but it hurt. It hurt me. My feelings were hurt. I didn't understand why these people were attacking me, and I was trying to do it. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to help. I was like a child. I was trying to help. I was trying to give good information. I was doing the best I could. I was fiercely intellectually honest. And what would happen then is I'd start defending myself. I'd say, wait a minute, that's wrong. I'd say, wait a minute, you're twisting my words. You know, wait a minute, I never said that. That's what somebody else said that. You're putting that into, you know. And the more I got sucked into this hurt, aggrieved, victim state of poor me, I'm trying to help, and look what they're doing to me, and this isn't fair. You can imagine all the scripts, just like a little child who's had his cake taken off his plate at the birthday. It's like, it's not fair. You know, what about all of this? Because we've all got that little child inside us. You see, and I really had a tough time with that. That was my first experience, and Brian will really resonate with this, I know. That was my first experience of the reality of truth in the media, that PR is senior to data. The accepted reality is the created PR. The intelligence agencies know this and are masters at it. They create the PR. It doesn't matter anymore whether there really were American astronauts who went on an exchange program to an alien planet. You go out there on the internet and it says it's a hoax. That's the vote. It's been voted to be untrue. You see, this is how it works. There's no chance. I had to drop it. I dropped the whole thing. I stepped out of the hut and I said, you know what? This is a battle. It's not worth fighting. Fortunately, I was smart enough, because by this time I'd actually met Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot, who interviewed me reluctantly, thinking that I was a kind of flaky hoaxer of some kind. And actually, to her great credit, she interviewed me for 10 minutes, realised that I was giving her good answers, turned the camera off, talked for 2.5 hours, and we became great friends. And I still thank Kerry for that to this day. And then we started Camelot, you see. So in the meantime, what had happened to me was, during the time that I was sort of single-handedly standing on the beach like King Canute, trying to stop these waves from coming at me, thinking, wait a minute, I'm holding the torch of truth here. Why isn't anyone paying any attention? That was just the starting point. And I had people writing to me saying, I want to share this information with you because you feel like a good guy to me, but and everyone else thinks I'm crazy, and I don't know who to tell. These were the seeds that then became Project Camelot, because people were frightened. People were writing to me with the most incredible stories, just because I was naive enough to come across as kind of being authentic. And then Kerry and I started Camelot. All of this is a sort of condensed life story. And then things really got interesting because then we had, through no plans of our own, through no strategic objective of our own, because once again there's this naivety. Her and I just picked up this little camera that was the size of one of these things. It wasn't a fraction as good as these cameras. We just had this little thing you put in your pocket. We just went around talking to people. We were delighted when one person wanted to talk to us. And we thought, well, we don't know what the Disclosure Project is doing. They seem to be pretty quiet. Stephen Greer hasn't done anything since 2001. We're just going to do what we can. Who knows? And we were visiting Tintagel in Cornwall at the time. Project Camelot seemed like a nice name. We got very excited about it. And the next thing we knew, people were writing to us saying, "Your inspirations, your heroes, your role models. Look at you. You're like John and Yoko." Bonnie and Clyde, actually, is what And we hadn't planned to be anything at all. We were just doing our thing. Naivety is a great asset. It's quite interesting. Groucho Marx said, you know Groucho Marx, the wonderful silent comedian, the Marx Brothers back 100 years ago. He was a pretty smart guy. He said, honesty and integrity make the world go round. If you can fake that, you've got it made. Quite interesting. So you can't try to do this stuff. You just act that. Look, we were attacked. This is what I wanted to say. We were attacked ruthlessly. If you want to see, if you look up anything on the internet about myself, you will find anything that you look for there. You will see that I'm a liar. You'll see that I'm a criminal. You'll see that I'm a hoaxer. You'll see that I'm insane. You'll see that I'm working for the CIA. You will see all of those things written by people who believe it. And it hurts. It really hurts to read this stuff. And although I've learnt a lot along the, believe me, I've learnt a lot. One of my friends, David Wilcock, said to me when we were I mentioned the story yesterday. We started being attacked by Dan Bureau. He was a friend.
I know.
These people are my friends. I love that guy. Wonderful, open-hearted man, completely taken over. God knows what's happened to him. The stuff on his website is invented about us. It's invented. It's like, why would he do that? It hurts when your friends turn against you, doesn't it? It hurts. It hurts. And the more sensitive you are, the more it hurts. And who's had that experience of being attacked by somebody who they really thought was on their side? It hurts. And so, especially when the thing with Dan Bureau happened, it was astonishing to me. It was a shock. It's like, what? It's a shock. David Wilcock said, look, don't retaliate. He said, don't try and fight back. Don't engage with these snipers who are shooting at you. Don't get diverted from what you're doing. That's just a huge trap. He says, the person who gets attacked, and David, although in some ways he's quite a young guy still, meaning that he's not yet turned 40, he's been in this game for about 15 years. He really is an old hand. He knows this stuff, and he's very smart. Mm-hmm. He said that the person who's in the PR world, that the person who's attacked always gets the sympathy, never the attacker. He says, just allow yourself to be attacked. Don't retaliate. Just trust. There's this profound trust that the court of public opinion will eventually do whatever its thing is. But don't get tempted into wrestling with all of this stuff, because it will take forever. You'll never be able to get out of the ring again. It'll distract you from your purpose. It'll upset you, and you're all going to get tarnished, tarred with the same brush of a whole bunch of people who just walk away from you thinking, well, I'm not having anything to do with this. It's just he said, she said fighting. Don't do that. And David was right. But it's still tempting because it still hurts. And those of you, once again, without going into any